You're watching West Hartford Community Television.
You're watching West Hartford Community Television.
You're watching West Hartford Community Television.
For the community, by the community.
And now, the Paul Fresia Show, with your host, Paul Fresia.
Hello, I'm Paul Fresia. Thank you for joining us here at the Paul Fresia Show in the studio and at home. This is our first show, and it's going to be a good one. Let's get started. The word of the day is dinosaur. Here at the Paul Fresia Show, we tackle issues in current events, popular culture, but most importantly, things I, Paul Fresia, care about. So, on today's show, I'd like to touch upon something very dear to my heart. My ex-girlfriend, Tamara. You see, yesterday, Tamara broke up with me, citing irreconcilable differences, saying, quote, "Paul, you have no emotions. You're like a plant." Well, on today's show, I will win Tamara back. Yes. I will have, in a few moments, a connection to my sweet, sweet dear via telephone. The problem is, she won't hear it from me. She doesn't want to hear one word from me, Paul Fresia. So, instead, I will pick one member of this audience to help me win her back. You, come up. Yes. Sit. Okay. What I want you to do is call Tamara and tell her how great I am.
Sure.
Remind her she's made a mistake. Even share an anecdote about me. Got it?
Yeah.
We good? Jitu, make the call.
Hello?
Well, hello.
Who is this?
Oh, yeah, I just would like to tell you I think you've made a terrible mistake in dumping Paul. I think he's a good guy.
What is this?
Tamara, it's me, Paul Fresia. Don't hang up. You've made a mistake.
I'm hanging up, Paul.
No, Tamara, don't hang. Jitu, she hung up. Can we get her back on the line? She's not picking up. Well, let's move on. But our phones will be calling for the rest of the program, and she'll have to pick up eventually. Get out of here. Tamara, if you're listening, I will get through to you, my honeysuckle rose. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not sure if you can hear, but it is pretty stormy outside. We're getting a lot of thunder and lightning here in the studio. We'll keep you posted on that as that develops. Now, a segment we like to call 60 Seconds with Mickey Papadopoulos, where each week our young correspondent Mickey gives us an interesting inside look at a different location. This week, Mickey has died so that he can give us an inside look at, get this, heaven. We go to Mickey live on the scene for more details.
Hi, how are you, Paul? As you can see, I'm not in heaven, but rather in hell.
Mickey, what happened?
It's hard to say right now, Paul. I either wasn't as good of a person as I thought I was, or cameraman Steven dragged me down with him.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Mickey. How's it looking down there?
Hellish right now, Paul. Later on today, I believe a crow will peck at my internal organs for 5,000 years. So looking forward to that. Back to you, Paul.
Well, that is one crazy destination. Let's hope he gets out of there. Mickey Papadopoulos, everybody. Ooh, There's that thunder again. Oh, I'm actually getting word that we have joining us here on the Paul Fresia Show a man who was just struck by lightning seconds ago.
Sir, I don't know where I am. You need to call. I need medical attention right now.
So tell us, how are you doing?
I think I'm in shock. How do I get out? How do I get out of here? How do I get out of here? I was just brought in. Is there a hospital around here?
Oh,
Is there a telephone I can...
I'm actually getting word that my ex-girlfriend Tamara is on the line right now. Sir, would you like to help me win back my moonlight dove? Great, here.
Hello, who is this? Hello?
Hello?
Listen, you need to call 911. I'm in pain. My skin is peeling off.
Who is this?
Tamara, it's me, Paul Fresia. Don't hang up. I don't know why you're hurting me like this.
Hey, please, stop this. Stop calling.
Tamara, please. No! She hung up. Jitu, can we get her back, please? No. Okay. That's all right. We'll move on from there. Can we get this out of here? Thanks. We'll keep trying with Tamara after the break. Welcome back to the Paul Fresia Show. Here at the Paul Fresia Show, we are extremely environmentally conscious. I love the environment. I love Mother Nature. Some call her Gaia. I actually know a guy. What's his name? Martin. Martin is his name. Martin is a great guy. Anyhow, joining us today is a researcher doing extensive work in an area of the world heavily affected by climate change. Please welcome Dr. Glenn Poofsky. Glenn, how are you?
Good, Paul. It's good to be back in the States. Thanks for having me on the show.
Absolutely. Glenn, let's get right to it. What is happening with the ice caps? I recently heard a report that 79% of the ocean levels will rise by the end of the 21st century. Is this true? What can you tell us from your research?
Well, Paul, I'm not here to talk about that.
You're not.
No. Today I'd actually like to talk about something different for a change.
Okay, what's that?
It's an issue that's very dear to my heart. It's something that's not being addressed in our elementary schools, in our middle schools, or in our institutions of higher learning. And frankly, I think it's a crime that regular people in this day and age walk the streets being completely unaware of this legacy.
What legacy is that, Glenn?
Paul, I'm talking about Antarctic literature.
Antarctic literature.
Paul. You might not know this, but there is a rich tradition of poetry and fiction and drama, all coming from the Antarctic region.
Oh, really? I wasn't even aware that there were that many people in Antarctica to begin with. What are some of these writers' names? Maybe I recognize some of them.
Well, there's me. Really, it's mainly me.
It's mainly you?
It's only me. So far, I'm the only writer in the Antarctic literary tradition.
So, it's really just your books that you're talking about, then?
No, Paul. Let's be clear. I'm not talking about my books. I'm talking about the Antarctic literary tradition at large. It's a literary canon that stretches back for close to 4 years at this point.
And that's as long as you've been in Antarctica doing research?
Exactly,
okay.
yes.
Well, what's coming out of Antarctica right now? What's hot?
Paul, I'm glad you asked. There's an exciting Gothic movement in vogue right now, being led by some of the brightest young voices of Antarctic writing. I actually just finished reading this one particular book of poetry. The author is me. I actually brought it along, if you'd like to see it.
Oh, no, please, by all means. Could we get a zoom in on that, Jitu? Glenn, tell us about The Wind Whispers Poofsky.
Well, it's really about answering big questions. Asking big questions, answering big questions. All set up against the frigid backdrop of Antarctica. Do you think I could actually read you a poem?
Oh, yeah,
Thank
please,
you.
please.
This one is called Snow. As I make my way through the icy plain, I pray her face I meet again, frozen with passion, yet with pain. This place is cold, not hot like Spain. Thank you.
Wow. Glenn, that was beautiful.
Oh, thank you, Paul. It's about loneliness. Also, it's really cold in Antarctica. That particular poem actually got a glowing review in Antarctic, a journal of literary criticism.
And who wrote the review?
I wrote the review
You wrote the
myself.
review.
Yeah, I put out the journal twice a year, once during the day, once during the night.
Oh, okay. I'm actually getting word we're almost running out of time. Do you maybe have one last poem?
I'd
you'd
love
like
to.
Okay.
This one is called Tundra Moans. In Antarctica, there are no polar bears. Not a single polar bear. I thought that's where they lived. Thank you.
Glenn, that really paints a picture. Now, before you go, I have one last question. How are the ice caps?
Huh? Oh, yeah, they're melting and it's all our fault.
Oh, well, thanks for joining us. Glenn Pusky, everybody. So, for our final segment, I've really figured out how to win back Tamara. You see, you guys aren't selling me enough. You need someone who knows the words to woo her. Me, Paul Fresia. You, come up. Sit down. What I want you to do is when Tamara is on the line, read from these cue cards. Okay? Got it, big guy? You two, ring-a-ding-a-ling.
Hello?
Hi, it's me, Paul. I am Paul Fresia, host of the Paul Fresia Show.
Oh, God.
You made a mistake. Get back together with me.
Paul, this has to stop. We've been through this dozens of times. It's over.
No, I know. I feel like I haven't been able to say everything I wanted to. I love you, Tamara. I know I don't always show it, but deep inside, I love you so much. I know we've had our problems, but I don't think they've injured our relationship, only strengthened my feelings for you. Tamara, this is my last attempt. You don't have to take me back, but know this. If you don't, everything that ever brought meaning and light to my life, well, that's all gone. Hello?
Paul!
Tamara!
That was the most beautiful thing I've ever heard. Wait, was that you?
I am Paul Fresia, host of the Paul Fresia Show.
Well, actually, I'm Paul.
This has never happened to me, bud. I fell in love on the phone with you.
Me too.
What?
Marry me.
Yes, I'm so happy.
Do you take this man to be your lawfully wedded husband?
I do.
And do you take this woman to be your lawfully wedded wife?
I do.
I'm Paul Fresia.
I now pronounce you man and wife. Kiss the bride.
Well, the one that got away. This has been the Paul Fresia Show. Thank you to WHC TV, our lovely production team. I'm Paul Fresia. Good night.